Hey y'all, Sweet Summer Sim here, aka Derica. Thank you guys so much for stopping by to hang out with me today. This speed build is in San Myshuno. We are at 19 Culpepper House, and I created a cute little two-bedroom, two-bathroom unit for two elder ladies. One lady is a photojournalist. She does a lot of traveling, and she takes pictures and tells other people's stories with those pictures. So and our other lady is an artist. So these ladies have been here for decades. I imagine this is like, like how we see apartments in New York. I've never actually been, but from what I see on TV, it looks like, they have certain areas where the units have been there. The residents have been there for like decades. So that's kind of what I was envisioning here for these ladies. They just been in this neighborhood for for so many years, and they've been roommates and friends and been in their careers for so many years, so this is their home. The primary bedroom does have an ensuite. There is a utility room, so if you have a laundry day, the utility room would be a great place for laundry. But this build is base game only. I really found that to be a fun challenge. Like, I have quite a few packs, and I'm used to like going to what I know in like cats and dogs or like Dream Home Decorator, those staple items. So it's really a bit of a challenge for me to just take what I have in base game and work with it. But in this build, I think it came together quite nicely. So once I chose my wallpaper, I knew that this was gonna be like an old style home with some Sims that have lived in it, and created a home here for some time. So right now I have my floor plan all finished, which I think flowed really well. I found a way to hide all of those unsightly, piping and breaker boxes and the drain that this unit comes with. I could not hide the mouse holes, but I do think the wallpaper I chose does kind of camouflage it. In the end, I do like that realism that they have in the San Myshuno units, where it's like, you got some bugs, you got some pests, and kind of like dingy hallways and such. But this build, I did not make it dingy. I just made it a little outdated. So these ladies are, they're established. They're comfy. They don't need to change anything, okay? They just need to focus on their art. So as you guys can see, I went with this wood paneling and like striped wallpaper here in the main areas. I believe in the bedrooms I kept the wood paneling parts, but I did change to different wallpapers. I think that was more a bit of a challenge for me. It's like a lot of texture, a lot of patterns, but I believe it came together pretty well. So we finished the floor plan and choosing our wallpaper and flooring. We are now decorating in the living room. I will say that this fireplace really set the tone for this entire living room, like this gray fireplace with this TV. I almost went with a mounted TV, but I thought, would these ladies have a mounted TV? No. No, they would not. I didn't imagine that these were like family Sims. I think they were just like more career Sims, more live life, more travel, like more, enjoy, my life and my friends. So I think that's what these ladies are like, just always been there for each other, always support each other careers and travels, and they make the best of roommates. um these couches, I do believe I changed them a little bit after I finished recording, just because I didn't like the flow of, the Sims getting around where I placed them. So they will look a little bit different than what you see in the recording, but there will be pictures at the end for you guys to see how everything finally came together. This build is on the gallery. I set it up as one full room because when you upload the apartment lots, you have to upload them as rooms, and rather than doing, however many separate rooms, I made this one. So if you choose to download, it is base game only, so everyone can access it, but you will have to add back in the walls where I removed them to it, just in order to make it one big room. That's just a limitation of like how it is uploading a room. So it is on my gallery. um and yeah, so I think for the living room, I I had a lot of like trinkets. Like I had a little corner piece. I mean, like a little nick. Yeah, there it goes. There's my little knickknack in the corner, and I tried to like add those sunflowers wherever else I could. Wherever, if I found more sunflowers, I added them in the living room. I just like to add those little pops of color where it's like not too much, but it's just enough to like draw your eye. In here, it's more of, honestly, it's more of a sitting room. Like there is a TV here, but I think this is just more of a sitting room for the ladies. Like they are really like focused on their interests. Like I think this is why they weren't like more family sims. They're really focused on their interests. So photojournalism and painting. So they don't really do a lot of like watching TV. Like I do believe I'd put a TV in the artist's room, but I mean, I think maybe she like watches the soaps in the afternoon. But she doesn't, they don't, both of them don't really watch too much TV. So this is like more a conversation room where they hang out, they discuss their days, their travels, their creativity, or just a good kiki in the living room with your girlfriend. So this hallway is really simple. I only added like pictures, a little console table, um decor, some decor pieces, like a couple statues and books. So those little stack of books is probably one of the best skill based items, because it's so compact, but you can have fun with it and you can learn skills with it by purchasing books. So I really love adding those stacks of books everywhere. um the paintings I really had a hard time with, because everything is just like, in the base game, a lot of the stuff just seemed really old, and I guess it maybe kind of could be to the age of this particular game. But I really had a hard time of just finding something that was, not too modern, but also not just completely ancient. Because I think these ladies are elder sims, but I don't think they're like, oh, some you should be worried about them living alone. I don't think they're that old. I think they're maybe like their early 60s. So they're elders, they're wise, but they still get on and around in the way that they need to. You know what I mean? So we are in the kitchen. I think once I've figured out the dining table situation, I was able to pull the kitchen together really well. So I've been like reading more, or I've been on Pinterest. I love Pinterest, but I usually am on Pinterest for crochet patterns. Are there any crocheters out there? I love to crochet. But anyways, I recently was seeing what they call like the triangle in the kitchen, to make sure like the kitchen, the stove, the refrigerator, and the sink are in a triangle with each other. So I've been doing that more in my builds, and it just makes everything flow so good. It just feels so realistic, because that is how kitchens and stuff are set up. It's just funny how you like experience things but like don't really understand it. So I've experienced the triangle, but I never really paid attention to it until I've been playing in The Sims. Maybe I'll decorate, or I'll design my own home one day, and I'll know exactly where everything should go. So I did add a couple of bar stools in here, and a little like a dish cabinet. I think that's like more realistic, because that's stuff like my older family has in their homes, like the big old chest with the trinkets and like wine and, just older pictures. So I think what I think I drew from like a little bit of experience of like my older family members when I was kind of designing this. I don't think no one has a house that looks this old. Let me not do them like that, but they do have some stuff in their house that's just kind of old. But anyway, I am like picking out clutter items here and just kind of filling up the rest of the space in the kitchen because I've never been in a kitchen where, there aren't a couple of things hanging around to add personality into the kitchen, like that little chest. I do know I add, the wine bottles. I actually wish we had more of those that didn't look like, a bar back. Like something a little bit more sophisticated. Like I know we're getting the new bistro pack. I think that'll be coming out the day that this is released. So I hope we get something nice in there because I think it's like the bistro. I don't know if it's Bistro Riviera or something like that. I may have melded the two packs together, but I'm hoping that we get something in there that would be like a little bit more of a mature item because I know we call like alcohol in the Sims like juice, but I mean, we could get a couple more wine bottles. I know there's more in like Horse Ranch, but I really haven't been too interested in Horse Ranch. I think maybe if it goes on sale down to 50%, I might get it. But for right now, I think I'm fine without the horses in Chestnut Ridge. If you guys have noticed, I'm using the tool mod here to get this entryway rug sized up to the way that I wanted. I have been using tool mod a whole lot more in my builds, just because it's just so good for getting those incremental sizings. I wish we had like, when you size something up in the game, it's like way too big. If you size it down, it's way too low. To be able to get more of a precise sizing up is really good. And I really like to use the tool mod for clutter too, and like realistic accents like right outside of my homes in different worlds. In San Myshuno, the world, especially in this area, the world is like really like detailed. So I don't usually find myself like adding cars or anything out out in the streets because I feel like they did a really good job with that, which is why I think it's like usually most people's favorite world. So we are still cluttering up in the kitchen. I usually like to leave two counters for prep because I really like to make my Sims cook together. I know it like glitches out more times than I would like, but I do like to leave that option because that's one of my favorite things for Sims to do together. It's like build skill, and it's a really good social skill builder at the same time. So now we are in the front entryway. I just kind of wanted to show how I hid that little ugly grate thing that is on the ground there. If the door were over a little bit more, I might have made this a bathroom, but instead I just put some pots and plants over it. So this foyer is like really tight. So I didn't do too much in there, but to have the coat rack and the mirror out at the front entrance would be exactly what I would want. We are finally on into the primary bedroom. As you all can see, I did already have a start in here, and that's because I really tried to make this bed work, but I just was nothing was matching. But have no fear, that bed makes an appearance in the second bedroom with the final swatch. I think it's called Starry Night, I believe. Um but once I added these built-ins area in this room, it really came together for me. So this room would belong to the photojournalist, so they have all their different cameras. And this is base game, so you don't have like a little more extra decor that would make it a little bit more obvious. But they do have all these cameras, and then this little custom like built-in areas like I just did with the counter with the countertops, the full frame or the tall cabinets, and then some shelving units. So I don't usually see this like in real life anymore, but I had an older cousin that had something similar where she had like the shelving over her bed, and I just remember being in her room and she would just be tapping her nails against the shelf. So that was a little fun nod to that memory as a child. But this room, both of the rooms are pretty simple, but I will say unique in that they show off or they highlight the sim and their particular interest really well. So I really wanted a desk in here, and of course the cameras, so that this is where they edit their pictures or where they put together their photo stories of the Sims lives that they capture. So yes, I think we are just about done in this room. I really had a hard time with choosing things to go on the wall because I wanted a lot to be on the wall, but I didn't have I couldn't I wasn't creative at the time to find something to just say, hey, these are the pictures that I take. So I honestly may go back in on my own time and just put a couple Sims in here and have them travel around to different worlds and take pictures so we can customize a little bit more in this world. Excuse me, in this room. There is an ensuite in this room, but I did not keep the recordings of the bathrooms just because they're so small, and it's a little bit hard for me to record in there because I do like to keep the walls up when I play and when I build. And I also didn't want my video to be too long. So the bathrooms are not in there, but they are a little cute little bathrooms, and they have a lot of personality in them. They are both full bathrooms, and I also did not include the utility room. But the utility room just has a sink, a little table, and like a basket of clothing and some other knickknacks in there. So we're just finishing up this room with a little clutter. I got quite a few things up on the headboard, not too much, but I think this all came together really well. I am using a Dream Home Decorator shelf just to help me get things get things in place a little bit better than what the game allows you without the shelving unit, but I don't keep it. I do believe this shows that there is something from Get to Work in this build, but there is not. I promise. I was very particular about making sure that this was base game only. That was a challenge. So we are on into the second bedroom. I did go through quite a few. I think I went through about 3 or 4 beds before I landed on the one that I had in the other room, and I got to that Van Gogh. I think it's called a Starry Night. Someone will correct me, but when I finally went back to that bed and landed on that swatch, I'm like, oh yeah, an artist. They would totally have a painting on their bedspread. Absolutely. So there is a lot of blue in this particular build, but I think it works out. I don't think it's like too much. I think it's nice. But especially in this room, once I got the chose the bed, the blue just stuck, and I think it worked really well. Like we did an accent chair. Um and the wall, I think it's kind of like a bluish kind of gray, maybe more gray than blue, but that's just kind of how it looked to me. And white. So I think this sim is the sim with a little bit more personality. Not that our photojournalist lady doesn't have personality. I think this one is just a little bit more of a bigger personality. She reminds me of like an art teacher. She studied, she painted, she traveled. She can teach you how to do it in a fun way. Kind of makes me think of the art Sherpa on YouTube. I really love her painting classes, but I think the art Sherpa was a little bit more funky than the Sam I had in mind here. But she was kind of who I was kind of thinking of, or kind of this Sam was kind of has that similar energy, is what I'm trying to say. But as you guys can see, the room is coming together really good here. So you can see a whole lot more of the blue is going on, especially in the lamps, my accent chair, even in the easel. Like, to me, it was just like tan and blue, tan and blue. Tan and blue. I don't know why there's just so much blue in this game, but there really is. So I used the sketches on the wall. I think these sketches are rewards for the painting career. I love the career reward items. So I do have a mod that has them all unlocked. Because I build in the world that I build in, I don't typically play in outside of like play testing the lots. So I do have a cheat to have them all unlocked, and they are just such a nice touch. I did try to work in the big canvas holder, but it was just too big, and the canvases that go against the wall, I tried to add those in too, but they just clipped through the curtains, and I really didn't want to get rid of the table that I end up putting on this wall. So I did add a little TV here and a little bit more of her artsy trinkets. I really wish there were more. I mean, the painting career, I would say the painting skill probably has the most objects that could go with it, but I really wish there was a little bit more painting clutter, like water cups, paintbrushes, some tubes lying around. I mean, the list could go on of what more I would like to have in this game, but that in particular would be very great for an artist. I think at the last minute I decided to make our little lady red. I just wanted that little random pop of color made this really fun. um but yeah, I think this room came together so good, so much personality. Um and this Sam is probably what keeps them like in a little bit of trouble. I think, like I said, like they're in their early 60s. She'd probably have them up too late every now and again. You know what I mean? But I think we are done in this room, and we should be getting out into the porch really soon. I think the porch is my favorite part. Like, I just feel like this is the cozy vibes. Like, oh, a good summertime. You're out here with your herbal tea, watching the neighbors, yelling down at a neighbor, just to speak, kikiing out here with your girlfriend, maybe when the photojournalist isn't traveling, and when the artist can step away from her canvases, they love to sit out here and have a chat and tea, you know what I mean? Or maybe coffee. I'm a tea girl. I love some herbal tea. Like, I stopped drinking caffeine. Ooh, I feel like I age myself in every episode. I've stopped drinking caffeine maybe like 7 years ago. I was drinking them too much in the corporate office. Okay, so I worked as an accountant for about 9 years. And what comes with that is a lot of meetings, a lot of coffees, a lot of tea. But yeah, I would love a tea out here with my girlfriends, just to hang out in the neighborhood, say hello to the people that, they've known for forever out here. I will say it took me like quite a while to settle on the furniture out here. Like, everything looked a little bit too modern, like when it came to like outdoor furniture, and I really went with such a particular style on the inside. I didn't want to get out here and for them to just have this fancy schmancy new patio set. Like, it just would not make sense. But what I do settle on out here is the two little cute chairs with some gold detailing, I believe. in it, and it just fit perfectly. I did add planters and flowers, a small little grill, simply because I don't really imagine that these ladies cook too much. I think they are more, delivery girls. And maybe they'll throw some veggies on the grill every now and then, you know what I mean? But for the most part, I think they would have deliveries coming up. Probably from their favorite Thai place, you know what I mean? I really like to build little stories for the Sims that I imagined would live into these houses, or the units that I built. But I do believe we are coming up on the end of this speed build. So if you have stuck around, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I hope you come hang out with me again, because I do have some other builds that are being edited and will be up on the channel soon. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope to see you in a future video. Bye.